Junction. Today we're talking about Demarcus Cousins. And should the Sacramento Kings trade him, move on from him, or should they put up with his antics and find a way to work around them? So far, things have not been going really well for Demarcus Cousins in Sacramento. Even though he's averaging about 27 points and 11 rebounds, all is not well in the land of Sacramento. The team is actually losing bad, and they just can't get anything to click for them. They have what seems to be a good squad. They have Rondo, Rudy Gay, Demarcus Cousins. They have, to me, it seems like an up-and-coming team. They're going to move to the new arena, but the issues with Demarcus Cousins are coming full circle, and he's getting suspended from games. He's suspended from the team by the coach for conduct deemed detrimental. He's not getting along with George Karl, but George Karl's not getting along with him. And the thing with George Karl is this is not the first player he hasn't got along with. We all know his issues with Carmelo Anthony. That being said, I don't know exactly where the Kings can turn because they're in a catch-22. If they trade DeMarcus Cousins, they're going to pretty much hurt their fan base. They're going to have to start all over again because they're moving into a new arena and nobody's going to want to go watch them without any star players. But if they keep DeMarcus Cousins and he continues to act the way that he acts, they're just perpetuating a locker room of immaturity, a locker room of chaos, and that's what you don't need that. If you recall, in the early 2000s, Sacramento Kings were a great team. They had Chris Webber, Peja Stojakovic, Doug Christie, Mike Bibby. Before Mike Bibby, they had Jason Williams. So they've been great teams, and that's what the fans remember, and that's what they thought they were getting with a DeMarcus Cousins and a Rajon Rondo and a Rudy Gay. But unfortunately, it hasn't panned out that way. DeMarcus Cousins is very, very immature. He's a hothead. But he's a talent. He's like one of the great talents. But which do you pick? Do you pick having a good team that you have to rebuild for a couple years, but you don't have to deal with chaos? Or do you pick the talent and you deal with chaos and you deal with the disrespect and you deal with the dysfunction just for your fans? And to me, you want to put a good product on the floor for your fans. And that good product means bringing in a player who's not immature, who can handle the pressure, and who can handle a franchise that's rebuilding and them being the marquee player. Right now, all it is with DeMarcus is he just doesn't get it. He doesn't get that he's the premier player and he has to set the example. It's kind of difficult to tell that to a 25-year-old that, hey, you're the man. This is the way you need to act, and this is where you need to be. If anything, they need to get him a great mentor. And I wouldn't even say like Shaq. Shaq is trying to mentor DeMarcus Cousins, but Shaq had more of his life together than DeMarcus Cousins did at his age. When Shaq went to the finals young. Shaq had way more success than DeMarcus Cousins at DeMarcus Cousins' age right now. So DeMarcus just doesn't get it, and Shaq trying to mentor him, I don't think that's really gonna work out, especially with him being a part owner, because DeMarcus might feel like some of the things he's saying is coming from ownership. So he needs a good mentor, and I would also say DeMarcus Cousins needs to see a sports psychologist. If the Kings want to keep him in the fold, in the mix, they need to get him a really good mentor. And they need to get him a sports psychologist. The reason I say a sports psychologist is because DeMarcus has potential that he can unlock if he would put all the anger and frustrations that he shows in his antics into his game. If he would put that in his practice, he would be the best big man in the NBA. Point blank, period. I mean, right now he's already, him and Anthony Davis, 1A, 1B, whatever. But he has the potential to set himself apart if he channels all of his energy and his focus. He has to stop acting the way that he's acting. He has to stop grabbing teammates and not letting them shake hands with people. He just has to learn how to win. And when you're in a losing situation and you're losing, it's tough. It's tough to be mature. It's tough to do what you have to do. I remember an interview with Kevin Garnett he did with Coach Thompson. Coach Thompson asked him, it's like, how do you play the way you play? You've been playing in Minnesota for all these years. What's the passion? Like, what keeps driving you? And Garnett said something very, very key. He said, I'm doing all this, and I'm losing, man. I'm losing. I'm a loser. I'm losing. I play hard. I won MVP, but I'm losing. You know what that Garnett saw right there? He saw that he has all the potential in the world, but he's still losing. And that's what's bothering him. And Garnett, what he did was he took that whole he's losing and he turned that into something positive for him. And he improved in his game. He became who he needed to become in order to actually win a championship. Demarcus Cousins is taking this losing thing and he's turning it in the absolute way that you do not want to. He's acting out. He's lashing out his teammates. He's yelling at his coach. Those are things that you can't do in that situation. You have to put the onus on yourself. Get better. Learn how to be a better leader. Learn how to be a better teammate. And those are the things that Sacramento Kings have to invest in if they want to continue with the Demarcus Cousins project. Because if it were me personally, I would trade him and just get a whole bunch of great pieces. I would trade him, get some great pieces, continue my rebuilding, and the team would be better, a lot better without the dysfunction. But they have something bigger than that because you have a new arena. You invested all this money. You can't go in there without a star. Point blank, period. So that being said, they definitely they have to invest some more time into DeMarcus Cousins' maturity level. They have to find him some counseling, some sports psychologists. He has a lot of potential, but potential doesn't mean anything. You have to learn how to work it. They have to invest into him, into a mentor. He just needs guidance and leadership. He doesn't need a lot more criticism. And like George Karl is trying to give him tough love, but a lot of these kids don't know anything about tough love. They just don't understand it. They think that you're hating. You're hating on them. Every time you tell a younger person to do something or this is what they need to be doing, you're hating on them. You're stunning their growth. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Kanye West evolution of kids or whatever. Like, but that being said, man, what you're doing right now is not working. Finding him games, everything, it's not working. He just lashes out even more and more. He doesn't talk to the coach. You know what I'm saying? Like they had a great coach in Mike Malone. I don't know why they fired him. For the life of me, I don't know why they fired him. It seems like him and DeMarcus were getting along fine. DeMarcus was getting in less trouble around then. But, you come into with George Karl, and, George Karl is a proven winner, ladies and gentlemen. So I can't take anything away from him. But his approach is really not going to work that well with DeMarcus Cousins. And DeMarcus Cousins has to understand one thing, too, as well. This is where the awareness comes from. And this is why I would move on from him. But they're not going to. You have a coach that's been to the NBA Finals, that's won over 1,000 games, and you're acting out as if you know more about basketball than he does. Like, get your minds right, man. Get your mind right. Get your head out of your butt, please. This guy has played against Michael Jordan. He's coached one of the greatest point guards of all time in Gary Payton. He's had Sean Kemp. He's seen players come and go. And you have to understand as a young man, this guy has been where you want to go. And you have to listen to and take guidance from him. And it's hard. I know it's hard when you feel like it's an old guy hating on you. But he's not hating on you. You got to put the onus on yourself. You have to take responsibility for the things that you do. And that's what Charles Barkley was saying. He was saying he doesn't hate the kid, but he just wants him to play better. He wants him to be more mature. Because as soon as he starts focusing on winning only and nothing else, the Kings are going to be a playoff team. And I'm telling you that right now. As soon as he gets his mind right, gets his focus right, the Kings are going to be a straight up playoff team. Hands down. Because he has that potential. He could command a double team. He could shoot. He could rebound. He could block shots. He reminds me of like if Shaq were in like peak shape. He's like a little bit smaller version of Shaq in great shape. And that being said, man, that's deadly right there. So hopefully the Kings can absolutely. I'm trying to use some of the things that we talked about today, and get a sports psychologist, get some better mentors, get somebody that can actually be there with him more often. Try a different approach. Get him some books. Bring a motivational speaker in there for him. Anything that could get him to shift the blame from the blame game to putting onus on himself. Because if the Kings can do that and tap into that potential, which doesn't mean anything to me, once again, potential, I hate that word. As soon as they could, get him to elevate his game. And right now he's 27-11, and they're losing. Once he realized, look, I'm losing. I'm a loser. Let me do what I got to do to become a winner. And the Kings got one. But until then, me personally, I'll move on from him. I'll just trade him. He doesn't want to be there. And he's doing exactly what he needs to do to get out of being there. He's acting up. He's getting suspended. He wants to get traded. He wants to get traded. He wants to get out of there. Kings, don't give him that satisfaction. Let him know that we want you here, and guess what? You're going to continue to get this 27-11 here. This is Vlad from Hoops Junction, where Hoops meets Hoopla. Peace.